The three keys to happiness. My friends, nothing is as universal as happiness itself. It is something that drives each of us to do nearly every action we take. Some people find happiness in their workplaces, taking particular joy in their jobs. Some people find happiness in others, in their social relationships that they might have with friends and family and acquaintances. Some people find happiness in all sorts of things. Yet some people also find their happiness, find their joy in some things that are not necessarily as good for them, such as escapism. Unfortunately, there are plenty of people that are all too willing to drown their sorrows and try to find some semblance of happiness in alcohol, video games, television, memes, TikTok, and so on and so forth. Even when we take actions we don't directly like, we do it because we think it will produce happiness in the long run. We don't all love our jobs, but we know that they will provide us with the money necessary in order to lead a happy life. We don't always love raising kids, but despite all the work that goes into parenting, looking in the eyes of your son or daughter seems to produce more happiness than nearly anything else can produce. Happiness is not merely part of being human. It is the core of the human experience. And that, my friends, is why I believe it is imperative to share the three ways in which we ourselves can become happy. If we follow these three simple techniques, we will be able to find that we ourselves have reason to be happy in the life that we have right now. Regardless of what position you might be in, regardless of how much money you might have in your bank account, or what other life circumstances seem to be facing you, no matter what obstacles or challenges might be in your way, you, my friends, are worthy of being happy, and it is yours for the taking. The first step to being happy is to find meaning in a world that many people seem to find absolutely no meaning in. We need to find something to dedicate ourselves to. We need to find something that is bigger than ourselves, that will make a difference in the world we live in the community that we're in. Whatever you dedicate yourself to, it doesn't have to necessarily be grandiose. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering or life-changing. Sometimes simply having a wife or raising kids or owning your own home can be a big enough dream for each individual. When I think of people who have meaning in their life, real genuine meaning, I think of people in my own family that gave themselves to something meaningful. I have cousins that served in the army, uncles that were pastors, aunts that were accountants and record keepers. None of these jobs were glorious. None of my family members are going to get any sort of a Nobel Prize. And that's perfectly fine for them, because even though they might not be remembered as individuals within the books of history, they found meaning in what they did. They found value in whatever it was they contributed to society. And that makes all the difference in the world. The second key to happiness is making sure that we surround ourselves with the right kind of people. If we put people in our lives that have different beliefs and different priorities from our own, they will simply weigh us down. When we surround ourselves with nihilists and haters and cynics, we will find that they inevitably drain the happiness out of our own beings, out of our very soul. This is why we need to be careful when we choose our friends, when we choose which relatives we spend time with, and which coworkers we talk to in the office. It is often said that you are who you surround yourself with. You are the people you spend the most time with. Look at the people in your life, and ask yourself a very serious question. Do you believe that these people, do you believe that that individual, that friend, that family member, that acquaintance is somebody that is building you up, or do you believe that that is somebody that is bringing you down? That's an answer that only you yourself can find. When I think of real-life examples of this, I think of a friend of mine that I went to high school with. I didn't think he would want me to use his name in this speech, but he was a friend of mine who was also friends with a variety of bad people who did a whole variety of bad things and made bad choices. Some of them dabbled in hard drugs. Some of them skipped school or vandalized community buildings. It was a classic case of a good kid getting sucked into a bad environment because of who he was willing to surround himself with. Luckily, he has since then distanced himself from those delinquent types, and it has genuinely made all the difference in the world. And if he can do it, my friends, there's absolutely no reason why you yourself cannot do the exact same thing. What we're able to reap by pushing those people out of our lives, the people that are not a positive influence, what we're able to reap from that is nearly immeasurable, and we're going to be all the better off because of it. And the third key to happiness, my friends, is finding some sort of a challenge. And I think this is the key to success, to happiness, and to greatness that most people overlook. This is an aspect of happiness that is often ignored, unfortunately. We all need a challenge to keep us alive, to keep us sharp, to keep us engaged with the world around us. This is why we crave sports. We love the challenge, whether it be on or off the field. Without a challenge, we become bored with life. We become weak and disinterested and unexceptional. If we don't challenge ourselves, we have nothing to be proud of. If we don't challenge ourselves, we have no reason to take confidence in ourselves or in our abilities. If you need evidence for this key, just think of most of the stories people tell you about their greatest accomplishments. There are plenty of people who still talk about championship sports games they played in high school. But they're telling you this when they're adults, decades or years or however long after they themselves played the game. And that just goes to show how much pride they took in that particular challenge, because that pride stuck with them throughout the years. That's also why people love to run. Marathons, half marathons, and 5Ks alike give people a sense of challenge, an obstacle that they want to overcome for the sake of their health, as well as for the sake of the pride it gives them in themselves. Those are the keys to success, my friends. Those are the keys to happiness. They're not always easy to achieve, but Lord knows they're straightforward enough. We need to find something to dedicate ourselves to. We need to surround ourselves with the right kind of people. We need to challenge ourselves. Those are the three pieces of life that are going to be able to produce the meaningful existence that we all crave. These aren't the answers society will give you for how to become happy. Modern materialist culture will tell you that you need to have the fastest car, the hottest spouse, the funniest joke, the sexiest body, and the biggest bank account in order to achieve true happiness. But that's a rat race that genuinely nobody is going to win. If you have $1 million, society will tell you that you need 2 million in order to become happy. But if you have 2 million, society will also tell you that you need 10 million to become happy. And you have 10 million, they're going to tell you that you need 100 million to become happy. No matter what you have, modern society, modern culture is always going to tell you that you need more. It's always going to tell you that you can never be satisfied with yourself, that you can never be content with your own life circumstances. Those are games that none of us should be willing to play, my friends. We need to follow these simple steps to achieve happiness, and then our life will be transformed forever. And once we begin to do these things, once we surround ourselves with the right people, accept challenges, and find something to dedicate our lives to, then that, my friends, is when we can genuinely start saying, we have begun to live. My friends, thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you.